Everybody. Yep, we're about 45 seconds late because actually it was Trina talking. It's all her fault. So that's
Sorry.
that's my testimony, and I'm sticking to it. And but seriously, no,
I'll
we were
agree.
talking.
Yes.
And welcome everybody to Speaking
Welcome.
Favor over us all. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Best way to go through life. And be of services to others. That's the way to go. So
Basto, baby.
Basto, baby. And
Basto,
we
baby.
are prospering. I love it. Hello,
Yeah.
moderators, and hello,
Hi,
Soul
everyone.
Tribe. What's up, folks? Y'all know who I am. Hello, Mary wins. When Mary wins,
Hi,
we all
Mary.
win. So hello,
Love
Trina.
Mary.
How are you, my dear? What's up?
I'm wonderful, Wayne. And how are you?
Any better? And quite frankly, I don't think the known construct of the universe in its current structure could handle it.
Absolutely. And
You know, I am that brilliant star in that undiscovered universe. I'm right here.
yes.
You know,
Yes,
so
you are. Oh, I would
people,
so
let your
agree with that.
light shine. Let
Yeah.
it shine. So anyway, that's how I'm doing. How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. All of you, the birthday wishes.
Yeah,
Thank you
but
so
happy
much. I
birthday,
love
Lou.
you.
You
Well,
know,
thank you. It was wonderful. And like I said, uh, my reality, it's almost like I'm living multiple realities within a reality. One's with career and work, and then the other one is soul tribe, and the other one is family, and the other ones are relationships. It's like all these different hats that we're wearing, the fractals of us. It's profound. And the greatest part of my fractals are you all. So just thank you for being in my reality. So thank you.
you know, it is true, Trina.
Yeah.
You know, get so many emails from so many people, and people that I'm gonna try to get on as many as I can. I know ISB wants me on. Got a problem? No problem with that. Just heard for Red Ken. I read your email. Yeah, be honored too, brother.
Absolutely.
And this is what's unique about this group, and I guess maybe it's in the dynamics of very tightly knit groups, is that there is a reciprocity of energy.
Yes.
And my journey has been so much. In fact, I can say the soul tribe that was organically brought into manifestation. It was no one's intent, just happened.
Yeah.
I can say that they have helped me in being able to define my life, my purpose in life. And, and it's been reciprocated in kind, because we've read the emails, Trina, of other people who have found their lives because of this group, this soul tribe group.
Yes. And I've watched how this did evolve, and it's so profound. It started with you and Brian. And Brian created be the frequency you want to receive. And then I would tell him, I'm like, yeah, because the vibration, when we align, we vibe with our tribe. And that's how kind of the soul tribe is, because our vibration, our soul vibration, we resonate with each other. And that's how this manifested through love and community. And it's just powerful.
Hello. And Al just said,
the bells start dinging.
Bad lightning struck his house and almost started a fire. What?
Zeus. Hello.
Wow.
Al, you know how to work with that boy. Seriously.
Wow, that's an intense the odds of it hitting your house are, number one, is astronomical, but two,
Al's been hit by lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. You might want to put lightning rods on your house, Al, because apparently
you should have them on there. I
strong,
think it's code,
he's
but
got a strong connection to that energy, because he's actually been struck.
Yeah, we just walk around, Al.
Right?
Well,
yeah,
Al,
be careful
we
if
just
there's
send
lightning
you.
around, Al.
Yeah, we just send you protection, brother.
Absolutely.
I trust that there was not a serious damage, but wow.
Wow.
Okay. So, by the way, I just want to throw this in. if you have, check to see if you've subscribed. YouTube is ghosting this channel. They shadow ban it.
Yeah.
And, someone wrote me and said, it's statistically impossible for you to be at the same subscriber level year after year.
Right. It's
See,
just not even, yes.
He actually works in the organization, and he said, just a heads up, I just want to let you know that your content with other channels that are like this content have seen explosive growth. So we know that YouTube is shadow banning me. Why, YouTube? Why?
Right.
They tried to kick me off falsely.
Yep.
So make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification, because apparently they do an algorithm on your channel that will unsubscribe people and then
it sure does. I've
notify
seen that.
them.
Yes, it happened on mine too. I've seen that. I literally did. Yep.
And Gaia says, I've had trouble finding your channel. Yeah, because they hide it.
Yes.
You literally have to put in my name, and it's ridiculous. YouTube, why?
Right.
I mean, really?
Right.
This is the type of spiritualness that, well, I don't think YouTube has a spirit, but that's anyway. I just think it's childish, and you should be more mature, YouTube. Seriously.
Yes, absolutely.
We're mature adults. I don't defame you. Why do you defame me?
Right.
I don't shadow ban you. So why are you shadow banning me?
Right.
It's statistically impossible, YouTube, for me to be at the same subscriber a year to date.
Yep.
Stop with the games.
Absolutely.
That's all
I agree. I agree fully. I agree.
Well, that's not
but
right.
Bob, listen to that. That should be a command for fairness on views.
It should
and
be
opportunities for people to reach information that they seek. You're stopping what they're desiring, and that's
and to be bigot,
violation of will.
That's a bigot. When you do something to side another person because it goes against what your point of view or as a perspective, you're a bigot.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, what the F? I mean,
I know. It's
that's
so
why
frustrating.
YouTube, you will not be at your pinnacle. You've already passed it.
Yep.
And
people are going to move on because it's just
so make sure to follow me on Odyssey. I am on Odyssey. I'm on Spreaker. I am on Roku. What is the other ones? Rumble.
Rumble.
So and Brighton. So see, Jack Dreamin says we're not allowed to discuss the occult or esoteric knowledge.
Right.
Really? Yeah, they don't like that shit.
That's why it's called a cult. It's hidden. It's always been hidden. It's always been only for a very small percentage of the collective. But this is the information time. So many, many, many now have been exposed. And I think that is literally the panic right now.
Yeah. And YouTube, I challenge you. You show me any one of your stations that you're populating out. How many of them get emails of saving people's lives?
Correct.
Helping. I mean, come on.
Right.
Why don't you be what we consider to be a human organization?
Right. And why don't you try to be a hero?
Yeah. There you go.
Hero.
Be a hero.
Yeah. You could save all
Money's coming to me. My
people.
palm's been itching like crazy. Yeah.
Which one?
Right one.
Oh, sending. You're sending fire into the matrix.
I'm on fire.
Why not, right?
I'm on fire. So someone said in the comments yesterday, Trina, that, by the way, YouTube, if you would learn what the word edify means, try putting that in your corporate mission statement.
Yes.
Gee, there's an idea.
Right.
Lifting people up.
I was going to say, raise us up.
Boy, I mean,
could do it. It could do it.
Sheesh,
but wouldn't that be ironically? YouTube saves the world.
Well, they had the opportunity. They did.
But sometimes just dropping that idea out in there can make a change.
Mm-hmm. Says it means you're giving out money. The right hand means you're getting some. Well, I can tell you this. It's anyway. Someone wrote in the comments yesterday, they said, well, Wayne, this soul tribe, everything that has come about, I've been doing these live shows now for going on 6 years, been on YouTube since 2012. But in any case, as she said, you've already created an egregore of favor, and you've given it a personality with the aspect of an attribute that there's nothing missing, nothing broken.
Yes.
So you see,
Power of
we've
the word.
already done this, folks.
It's magic, and the word is magic. And this is exactly what you did. You brought a word, an old word, back into the consciousness, the web of consciousness.
Yes,
that
the web.
beautiful web of consciousness we're creating all the time, whether you know it or not. So this is beautiful to intentionally bring back a favor. Favor is a charm. Favor
It's a
is
powerful
magical.
word.
Yes, it is. It's an
Mhm.
old, beautiful world, and it usually meant charm and favor. It meant everything was beautiful around you. It was a word of royalty, elegance, healing, every abundance. It's like the cornucopia. It's just a beautiful, beautiful term. And you brought that back into this world. That's so
It
powerful.
was a position of high favor, because if you had favor with the king,
Yes.
You were golden.
Yes.
You were just golden.
And if you didn't, off with your head.
Indeed, it's like, okay, but yeah, I would agree with you. And so we've gotten our list, and I've cut it off after today. So if you're there,
Did you
but
say we ended up with 72?
we have 72. I think we may be having
Wayne,
a
that
couple
is
of those.
profound. I said that we would get 72.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard it was the 72 angels because they wanted to join and participate. And I was like, absolutely. Yes, the 72.
Yeah, it's popping up all over the place, and I'm
72
excited about
angels,
this. And did you hear
72
yesterday's show?
daemons.
Did you hear yesterday's show?
Yes.
That was, and Lucky Smith, you are absolutely right, my friend. That was probably some of the, if those who got it, if you truly grasp what yesterday's show was about and you listened, you have some answers. You have the type of occult knowledge that literally can excel you to the front of the class.
Absolutely.
It was amazing, because what Mark Stevish described was what your encounter with Randy's father, who crossed over, was talking about, this collective consciousness.
Yes.
And it's amazing what these thought forms, how powerful they really are, and how ignorant we are who create them.
Well, that was the funny thing. When the first time I saw the web of consciousness was when you started bringing favor in. And remember, I told you, I said, Wayne, what you've created is so big. I saw what it did, and it blew my mind. And it was so hard to put into language. But it activated a crystalline grid around the entire world. And it was a vibration that put a new sound into the earth. And it was like it made the earth take a deep breath. It was the most beautiful thing that I saw. And the web of consciousness is being created all the time with every one of our words and our thoughts. But when you put that in, it was like it was hit with a drop of gold. It was so beautiful. And then when Randy's father showed me the web of consciousness, then it all made sense. And I was like, this is why we have logos, and this is why we have these words and these corporate identities. These are all thought forms. And then it was part of my realization, one of the biggest thought forms in the world is Jesus. And then the other thought was, I wonder if the ultimate egregore is yourself.
It's interesting because, whatever a person believes in, if you can't see it, you can't touch it, then you have a relationship with a thought form.
Yes.
And it's amazing because the experience of the human journey is the creation of. So what's talking within us? Is it our spirit that's talking, or is it the soul? To
I think we
whom
got
and what?
three. I think we got three talking
Okay.
on the biggest layer, which is the Trinity, which is the overlay of all the other voices. Because I see every part of your body, just like the what was the Book of Solomon talked about, the demons that created the flesh. And
That's
everyone
actually
is
the Liber Lilith. But
okay. Yeah, I've seen that before. Though it might have been the keys of my Enoch book, the white and gold one. It might be in there too. I've seen it before. So I that's real. We also have voices from the planets, which control our chakras. We also have the duality in the mind, which I think is the soul spirit. But then there's the body too. The body has its own voice, its own consciousness. So I see multiple layers of connection, communication in this vessel. And ultimately, our consciousness is not even coming from our brain, it's coming from a remote location above, which I do think is probably soul.
well, Manly P. Hall, that's part of Miss Biloxi, excuse me,
Yeah,
theosophy.
Blavatsky. Oh, that's a tough
Biloxi,
word.
yes.
Blavatsky. Yes. Oh, it's a
And
tough one.
hers is, what she interjected into the matrix is quite interesting because it really builds on this whole thing is to, all right, so who and what is talking? I see your perspective, but then I look at this and I think, well, most people, I don't think can hear those outside voices, but I could be wrong. I find that most people are confused with their own voices. I've had this conversation with a couple of people, and it's been rather amazing. They can't shut their brains off at night to actually sleep. And I said, so what's the problem? Well, my thoughts just run rampant. I said, so why don't you control your thoughts? And it's interesting because two people said the same thing. I'm not disciplined enough. And I said, so you let your brain. So I said, so who's thinking this? Now hear me out on this, Trina, because this is interesting. You have people who say they cannot fall asleep because their thoughts are just constantly going. Yes. Then they say that they're not disciplined enough to stop them. So who and what is really speaking here? I mean, now think about this. They're admitting it's not actually them, but that is their brain that is running thoughts that they can't control.
Yes.
That's an egregore.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what I was seeing when you were saying that. I was like, exactly.
That's an egregore who has taken a high priest position over that individual's consciousness.
You actually are its host.
You are its host.
Yes.
Now, both these people have to take a slight sedative in order to be able to get sleep. But as I looked into this, it's like the number one problem in the industrialized world. People cannot sleep.
And that would make sense because our adrenals have been overfired through the chemicals and the stuff. It makes a lot of sense. And this is all being done on purpose. The calcification of the pineal gland, all the physical things that have been done to us to prepare them for what's coming now. Now it's here. And now we're seeing the effects of it. And it's happening through dis-ease. And it's happening through these types of symptoms and things going on in the body. So the only way to do that is to understand that if the mind can't be controlled. You're dealing with ego. You need to deal with that. Deal with the ego, because it's just running too powerfully in the system. And you got to find a way to connect back to your ergos, which is your egg, your source, whatever, however you do that.
Well, listen, if they can't control their thoughts, I'll guarantee you this: they're not going to find their ego. They're not going to find their center. They don't know what their center is.
Yeah,
and here's the other problem to this. There is an absolute physicality problem here, because as humans, we have to sleep. Now, some people have certain circadian systems that, you know, I'm a person that requires between 4 and 6 hours of sleep. That's all I need.
Yep.
There are other people like my wife who requires 9 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. These bodies have to have that downtime in order to flush out what we know are the chemicals, because if you're sleep deprived, it will drive you into psychosis.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how many people do we have basically walking in a psychosis state already? You know, it's just, it's interesting.
with what you're saying with the statistics, Wayne, if it's that bad, it's that bad statistically.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, the drugs, you look at the pharmaceuticals, it's their number one seller.
That makes sense. See, because when you can't sleep, it's like, okay, if you look at a battery system, see, we're not getting a charge from one part of the system. So that's going to drain your system and make you not work right. You won't work right. Interesting. I pulled the deer of Delta when I was pulling the cards earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't Delta what you do when you go to sleep?
It's the Delta. Yeah. Delta waves.
It's very interesting. That's literally what I pulled. So there's something very important to this.
They're huge. I mean, and as I am learning, I'm reading some really far out books right now. In order for us to be much more trained and in tune into being able to communicate telepathically with not other physical beings, but also with other ethereal beings. And as we found out yesterday, we learned how these egors actually get into the auroric field.
Yes.
And how they attach themselves.
Yes.
But it is in this theta waves, the delta waves of where we call REM sleep.
Yes.
That is where communication is taking place. We're in commune with these others. But as I'm learning, they taught me last night, they showed me, we were over an individual's sleeping domicile. People are today, they don't know how to listen. They don't know how to hear these beings.
Mm-hmm. They
speak to us in our dreams.
Yes.
But if people say, well, I don't dream. Yeah, you do.
You just don't remember.
You're under, I can only say this, you're under a spell.
Yes.
So anyway, I found it yesterday. Last night was an amazing night of travel. And they try to talk. They do.
Yes.
But
you know what's interesting, Wayne?
What's that, hon?
Not last night, but the night before, Randy woke having a dream, and he was battling immortals.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And he said there was good ones.
Why?
And
The question is why.
Ones. He said because there were good ones and there were bad ones. And he said it was really weird because you didn't want him to get too close to you for too long, the bad ones, because I don't know if they could do that, attach to you or something. But he said it was weird. He says, because you'd have to get him to slow him down a little bit. He says you'd have to kill him, but you know they don't die. So like he'd kill one, and that way they could just get away from it. But then they said the other ones, the immortals, they were totally really good to be around. But that was an interesting dream. I'm like, isn't that interesting? And he could fly in that dream.
Mm-hmm.
And he was flying. Yeah. And I'm like, that is profound.
Yeah, very.
Profound.
That's interesting. So what I was shown is that this is a problem. Humanity at this state right now where we are is more asleep than ever before. the vast majority of our species has lost connection to what I would call that thread, that link that allows the two realms to communicate.
I think it's bigger than that. I think that there's such an effort right now to disconnect us from our spiritual capabilities. I think one of the fastest, easiest ways to do that is to get the brain chemistry out of balance through sleep deprivation.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it's just another one of the layers of the mind control.
Because that serotonin, if you don't have the ability to flush it out, it will drive you batshit crazy.
The delta waves encourage you to call for spiritual intervention.
See? I didn't need to see.
The delta waves are the slowest and most stabilizing of all brain waves. The state in which the body recovers from all injury.
It is a healing time.
There you go.
And I have an interesting way of how I can judge if my body is aging.
Yes.
Now, number one, because sleep does bring healing. That's when your body repairs itself, because the spirit isn't actively involved. But it's real interesting because most people don't realize that's when you're aging too.
Yes.
And I can tell by my facial hair.
Yes.
I don't have to shave like every other day, sometimes 3 days in a row, but I can tell when my body is aged because my beard will be thicker.
Oh, wow.
So it's away from my body. And so I'm in tune to that because I want to know, all right, so what's affecting the process? Because it doesn't happen every day.
Yes.
My wife is envious of this because, as she said, if I'd known this years ago, I could have saved, and it's true. This is why it drains our energy off, because later in life, this is how it shows and manifests.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. You know what's really weird too? We've been seeing a lot of symbology about this Artemis lately.
Yes.
No, guess what? The Greek nymph Taygete called upon her beloved goddess Artemis to protect her from unwanted advances from a powerful suitor. In response, the goddess transformed Taygete into a deer so she would be safe from harm. Taygete teaches us that we can become vulnerable like the gentle deer in the spiritual sanctuary of our devotion, protected by a greater source. Wow.
Love that.
So this is the cutoff. This is why it was so important to deprive humans of sleep. You can't be reborn. You can't renew yourself. This is the process of rebirth and renewal. This is how you get clarity, vitality. This is how you emerge from your own self. It's the shamanic realm, the realm of the delta brainwave, the state of the deep, where you are completely unconscious.
Yeah.
Ooh, there is a temporary paralysis initiated. That's powerful.
Now, some of us who have experienced in our past, I don't experience it anymore, but sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
And it's real interesting because you're in that in-between stage. You talked about nighttime visitors, as I told the girls on Friday, the ladies, Pythagoras.
That's so awesome, Wayne. I was so blown away.
It's like, but I'm meditating on it, trying to recall why I could not hear him speak. I don't know.
Let me think about that. I did think about, and I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
You know why? I think they want you to create a telepathic communication. I have a feeling.
Yeah, it's interesting.
With him. I have a feeling you taught with him.
It's odd. I've been seeing a lot of people in attire that would be more
Greek.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Yes.
I know what you mean.
I was in a place where I looked down at my feet and I was wearing sandals. They were
absolutely
but they were animal. It wasn't leather like we see. I because I looked at it and I said, now that's damn odd, you know.
Wow.
I mean, you know, it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wayne, I really do. I think you were one of those old teachers back in those times. I really do.
Oh, no. I'm convinced that, you know, as we all know, Trina, as you just celebrated your entry into this, we're allotted so many days in here, and the days are really few. I mean,
Yes.
and I was thinking about this the other day. I guess it was you that kind of triggered that thought that, all right, been here about what, 24,420 plus days. Um, but the average human is here less than, unfortunately, 25,000 days.
Correct.
And 25,000 days is not a whole lot. I mean,
No,
no,
no, it's
we
not.
should be, I think we should at least get 250,000 days.
Well, you know,
Wouldn't it? I mean, we would learn a
I
lot,
think,
wouldn't we?
like I said, I really think this is another one of the installed programs to keep us suppressed, because if we were to live longer, we would expand our knowledge. So this is another
Yeah.
way of the mind control, was age, degeneration, and regression. So that way we wouldn't have time to figure this all out. So I see so many layers of this, and it's so becoming evident and apparent, what's been done to our consciousness. So in our
So,
bodies, so our consciousness could not be received.
and here's something else as the Soul Tribe group, because maybe others have experienced this. And maybe Courtney would be someone to talk on this as well. But it's interesting because the Akashic Record, which I do believe exists, I knew it by a different term in my Christianity. In Malachi 3, in the last verse of Malachi 3, it talks about specifically that there is an angel that keeps the records.
Yes.
All right. So it's not a leap for me to see, take where they got this from, that there is this thing called the Akashic Record. I had Linda, I forget her last name, 3 or 4 years ago, and she actually accesses it as well. And my point is this: I got a sense, because I struggled there for the longest time in saying, all right, this couldn't be my first trip through here. I just don't believe that.
I don't either.
Because that would imply, it implies a lot, but
Right.
but Trina, I think I've been visiting this place.
I know you do. I've
And
seen you there.
it's an amazing building.
Yes, and there's multiple ones, and there's multiple levels.
It's as big as it's bigger than a planet.
Yes.
Yeah,
and Wayne,
you know.
go up the elevator next time and see how high you can go.
All right, I'll let you know that.
Right.
Courtney says the Bible also refers to it as the book of life. Yes, that's in the book of Revelation.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Although I don't believe in the way that they twisted that, but that's cool because you know, that's where you get the boys club. You know, if your name's in it, okay. If your name ain't, you know, yeah. But I think you're right. This place that the records are, and maybe, I don't know, is it possible that we can go there for life reviews before we even leave this life and be able to assess the past?
Yes.
I'm just asking.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I've seen people do it. I've seen people do it in trance. They go into their Akash and they look at what they need to see. And most people, when they view their Akash, it's almost like a hologram. The book opens up, but then they see it up on a screen. So that's how most people perceive it. But yeah, and it shows you things, and it's specific to the person. But yeah, you can go into your Akash. You can. I would put a little warning on going into other people's Akash.
That ain't none of my business.
Right. And I think that's truth. It's like going into somebody's diary. I don't think that that's okay without their permission. Now, if somebody gives you permission to go into their Akash, fine. But I would make sure you have permission for that.
That's why I really weigh who I let in the inner circle, because every person that you allow in, that's more responsibility. It is. I mean, the responsibility of the trust that another spirit being will give you. Unfortunately, that's not taught enough. That's people. I actually had someone write me and said, you tell all these stories about these angels helping people. I got to tell you, it hasn't done anything for me. Why? And I began to think about this, and I'm going, well, how trustworthy are you? Would an angel trust you?
Are you loyal?
Yeah.
Right. What
Are you faithful?
What kind of person are you?
Yeah.
Because you will only align with that which your vibration resonates with. You can't bring in a high vibrational being if you're not able to match or at least meet halfway that vibration. It will not happen.
It'll repel each other if I see
not
this
just
correctly.
that, you're going to be bringing in the deceivers, the lower vibratory imitators of that which is foundationally based upon another image or egregore thought form. So the copycat Jesuses, the copycat Metatrons, the copycat Archangel Michaels, they're not the real ones. They're lower vibrational imitators. And like what I say, the tricksters, the father of all lies. Those are the energies you're dealing with. You're dealing with those tricksters. And they're identical copies. The only difference between them is their vibration.
It's interesting. And Nestle, I'm going to add on to you, because I heard it a different way, that the times of near-death experiences, we all go up to the great abyss, that's that darkness looking in. And as the great philosopher said, the greatest fear is that when we look into the abyss, we will see that which is the source of all of our fear. The vast majority of people see themselves.
Yes.
Because, and it explains it. Hey, Isby, how you doing?
Hi, Isby.
Get you on your show. Come on. Love to have you on this one. You're always welcome.
Absolutely.
But it's true. I mean, and that, I guess that's part of that process where you can start looking at yourself in the mirror and just get real, and just, when you can get to that point where you can just say, you know what, I love you unconditionally. I love me.
I think that's how I connected to Lilith.
Yeah.
I went into my dark side, and that was exactly how I ended up having a conversation with her. Because wow. Oh, wow. So yeah, I had a lot of my warrior. Oh boy, she needed some healing. Wow. Yeah. So
and we're part of that process too, of as I have been told, we've introduced Lilith in a different light here. Now, is she the goddess? I don't know, but I know this.
I think she's a fractal of it for sure.
I think so. She is beautiful
for sure.
The thing that we've been able to do here is that we've taken the mirage, the mask of the ugliness, the perversion of her image, and transformed her to what she really is. She's quite beautiful. She is the morning light.
She probably is the morning star.
I would agree with you. Yeah.
And on top of that, she was the first. So nothing would be without her.
Couldn't be.
So if anything, there should be some honor for your existence, because without her, you would not exist in this human existence right here, right now. Without
Queen
her,
of Swords says, my warrior is healing. Thanks for the help. Well, Queen of Swords, welcome.
Yeah,
mine
too. I
hey,
feel
Gaza's in here.
Hi, Gaza.
Gaza, that's like 4 o'clock in the morning over there. He's with Jules on that.
Yes, much love, Gaza.
Much love to you, brother. Jack
me.
Dreaming says Lilith is an aspect of Venus. Yeah.
Yes, I believe so. Venus, the morning star.
Yeah.
This,
Yeah.
I've always thought the Lucifer Venus thing was associated to the goddess. And that's why when they say in ancient Egypt, when the demigods and the giants were eating all the humans and they couldn't win, they set Sekhmet, which was the cat-faced goddess from Venus. And she was the one who cleaned house and stopped all the chaos. It was her that did it. So that would be, like I said, her divine protective nature. But yeah, that energy is, it's her or part of her. That's Lilith. She's both. She is the mother, but
Don't
she
piss
has
Lilith
been,
off.
yeah, and she has been stolen from.
I think Isby, I think she's
Stolen.
Isis as well. I think
I
she's
do too.
Diana. I think she is.
I do too.
I think she has been here all along. The thing that I've gotten so often is there is a love that can become so hurtful
Yes.
that does that make sense?
Love, when it is harmed, it turns into wrath and hate and vengeance. It is the quickest transfer to bring something to the opposite darkest pole of existence, because love is the ultimate most powerful in all existence. Like I said, and this is a system of polarity. You flip that switch, that love is going to turn into that other aspect. Take your pick. It's all dark. Because
someone asked me, they said, well, aren't you afraid when, because I don't invoke her. I mean, she's welcome here all the time. I mean,
right.
But I told them, I said, the thing is, what you don't understand, I'm insulated.
Yeah.
I can stand in the midst of her energy. It's not going to harm me.
No, because she will not harm you.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise you coming in.
You. Yeah, she'll protect you. But you have relationship with her.
I was invited.
That's correct. And that was with me. I just showed up. I didn't invoke it either. And all of a sudden I was there with her and I was like, whoa. And that's because I was asking about myself.
Oh, Monkey Experiment says she's sweet, but she has a dragon side. It's interesting you mentioned about the dragon. Trina, I'll turn it over to you on that one.
You know, I've been looking at creation for quite some time. And several years ago, I received a lot of information about the dragons. And I think dragon, in essence, is seraph, which is Sarah, which is seraphim. And I think that, yes, and I think that that is the dominant dragon line on this planet. And I do think that many of us here, beyond our bodies, our light bodies, before the light body, I'm pretty sure many of us were dragons, because dragons are plasma beings. And it's the first relation in the alchemical processes of creation of matter that you go through to descend into or create matter. So plasma's first, the light plasma dragons.
I'm a dragon rider, just to let you know.
I get it. I totally get it.
I really am. I mean, the dragon is so related here. I mean, I think of Kaz.
Me too.
Kaz, and I think, of so many other, Jenny, I think a number of people, the dragons, they love it here,
Yes.
We acknowledge and we love them. They're still here.
Yes.
Yes. So following on what you have to say, because I'm quite enamored with this whole Bigfoot, these beings. And there is a show that's on Sunday nights, Expedition Bigfoot.
Wow.
They have some of the latest technology. They've used, what was it? Land radar that actually captured one. But the one thing that they captured, and it's been on my mind, I meditate on this all the time. They actually have this Bigfoot creature that walks in front of the camera, and as it walks, it just disappears.
Cross straight over into the fifth dimension.
Now, they have done this many times before, which tells me, this is what it tells me, that if they can do it,
we can too.
We can too.
Bingo. Bingo, Wayne. Party
We just
tricks,
don't know
told you.
how.
Right? Go
Or
into
maybe we do.
hypnosis.
I don't know.
All we need to do is go into hypnosis. We need to start working with this, going into the subconscious. Lilith is the subconscious mind. That's where all of this is in, all of those hidden powers. Why do you think that I see her bound? That's a representation metaphorically of us being bound to our subconscious abilities, divine feminine abilities. That's why divine feminine was removed, because if you tap into those, you are a magical being, because you now are spirit and soul operating as the Christ. That's what that means. That's the whole big secret. Boom, done. You activate both of those powers in you, you can do magical things.
So this is what I'm thinking. Since we know that this is happening now with one species, this is why I'm convinced the dragons are still here. This is why I'm still convinced when I look up into the heavens, I get the slightest movement and I know my eyes are not perceiving, but something just moved above our house. And it's telling me that all I have to do is become in tune that this is, number one, not only possible, but it's happening. I think that the firmament above us, Trina, is filled with life forms that we cannot even begin to comprehend.
And I think
look at the Pegasus.
And I think this one's real too.
I do believe that
really
as well.
Do.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah,
I think that's a fractal of the mixing
Delaney
between the
Jones
dragon and the
says,
horse.
my house is a dimensional doorway. That is more true than what people can even begin to. It's true. Delaney Pearl Jones.
Absolutely.
If you come into my office, I've done a ceremony that, and Lynn will tell you that, and people who come into our house, they'll look inside the door, but they won't go forward because, as they've said, we've heard this before, there's a strange thing in there. One person got really dizzy and sick, but there's a portal because I sanctified the doorway for that opening.
Yep.
And I haven't closed it because it still serves me well.
That's right.
And it's true.
Boy, it sure does. And like you said, if your vibration is not appropriate, you will not be allowed to enter. That's the secret of the universe right there, Wayne.
One of Lynn's friends, she came in and, because she was quite fascinated, this office, as Lynn says, it's a different place. And she stepped through the door and she got real pale,
Yeah.
She says, I can't stand in here. She says, I'm feeling sick and I got a headache,
Her consciousness, it couldn't process the vibration.
Something was it.
That's what it is. It's like I said, when your consciousness is at a certain level, you don't know what you don't know. So you know what I mean? But when you get hit with that much consciousness in a small space, because all that room carries all of your words, all of your thoughts, all of your information. She walked into that was like a reality shifter. She basically walked into another dimension, but her vibration didn't get there naturally. So it hit her like a wall of force saying, do not enter. This will collapse your system because it will short circuit your entire foundational reality. And it could have thrown her into cuckoo land. So the higher sympathetics, like, I'll protect you. We'll make you pass out.
I felt bad for her. I mean, it's like, she says, well, I've never experienced that before,
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, and she says, you don't feel that? And I said, no. Tried to hand somebody Sanji. They wouldn't touch Sanji.
Nope. Sanji chooses who's allowed to touch Sanji. I know that. Yeah, that's amazing. That's good. Yeah. I'm glad they knew not to touch it.
What, because I said,
you might have zapped him, Wayne. Yeah, for real. Sanji's
well, it's interesting because Sanji has a weird effect. I told you what happened to the mother and the son. Immediately they started feeling pain right here, both of them. And they handed Sanji back, and she says, I can't look at it. She says, I got this. And she says, this is, and I said, what are you experiencing? She said, it's like she says a brain freeze, but she says it's very concentrated right here. And their son, who was 9 years old, was feeling the same thing.
He was opening their third eye.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's so interesting. Yeah, Sanji's very, very, very powerful.
it really is.
I can't believe I captured that rainbow shooting out of his head that day. That was amazing.
That was amazing.
I was
Al got
like,
that
his
picture.
eyes are glowing purple. No, that was me.
You caught that picture.
That. Yeah, I screenshotted it on your show. You helped Sanji, and I don't know how I saw it, but I saw it. So I kept going through it frame by frame, trying to get it, and I finally captured it, and I screenshotted it, and then I sent it to Al and you.
Yeah, you sent it to me. Yeah.
I was like, this is
we'll
amazing.
have to get that.
It's profound. His eyes are lit up, his third eye is lit up, and the rainbow's shooting out the side of his head. It's profound. That's a profound picture.
It's a loving force. I got to tell you, he stares at me all the time.
Yeah.
Got that smile. Like, hey,
well, you know,
Bubba.
he was told that he was to go to Brian.
Mm-hmm.
And she couldn't move the crystal. It wouldn't let her pick it up for over a week until she said it would go to Brian. And as soon as she said, fine, I'll send you to Brian, Sanji allowed her to pick it up. She couldn't pick it up. Couldn't get near it. So yeah, that's a consciousness there that's very powerful. And I think Sanji found his way through Brian to you. So there was a very magical journey. That consciousness had an idea that it wanted to be connected to, and it found it.
I remember when, Brenda, said that was, I was shocked. I mean, it's like when you don't expect it.
I told Brenda, I said, how do you feel with the crystal skull in there? She says, I don't know. And I says, I don't think you're supposed to have that, sweetheart. I think that is very powerful, and I think that should be going to Wayne. And she says, I think you're right. And I said, I know I'm right. I just know
it's got Brian's essence to it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. He loved Brian.
Mm-hmm.
He loved Brian. Yeah. And I think he knew with Brian would connect him to the soul consciousness. That is a consciousness tool. That is a brain. And it has been given to you because you are the bus driver. And Brian started the soul tribe. And that was given to him as the opening of the portal of the connection of consciousness with the web of consciousness we're creating. And Sanji's part of that. It's part of that crystal.
I agree.
Me too. Me too.
Let's see. I love this. Isby says, let's do a live show. Yeah, absolutely. We'll do that, Isby.
Yeah, speaking of, aren't they beautiful?
Now, that's pretty.
Ball.
Yeah, it's turning colors, I can see there.
Yes.
Yeah. Does it have a lucid dreamed about crystal skulls before I heard about them?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're probably part of the original constructors of that ancient technology. If you dreamt about them before you ever saw them, you're obviously deeply attached to this technology.
Yeah, and
it's a technology.
Yeah,
that is a technology.
It is.
It sure is.
Nina says, nice, Trina. The crystal ball. Yeah.
I've had it for years and I've never been able to get a stand that could hold the weight. And Randy made me the wood stand. I'm like showing it off. I'm like, it's never looked so beautiful.
So Randy made that?
He did.
That
he
is
hand carved
beautiful.
This.
Beautiful.
He handmade it. Yep. And he even engraved inside of it. It's so beautiful. And he put this light in it. This little light kit, so I can replace batteries, and then he engraved inside of it RP 2022.
Look at there.
And it fits my crystal ball perfect. I mean, just absolutely perfect. It's never felt so safe and secure, and it's never been able to capture so much light into the ball.
It's quite beautiful. And I would say that.
The first night we slept with it was the night he had the dream about the immortals. Yeah. This is illuminating the room at night with all the spectrum of all the colors and the transitions of them, which are the aqua colors and the pinks and the different colors. It's a beautiful, beautiful frequency.
Courtney says, my husband can't handle skulls yet. Jack Dreaming said, I still remember that dream. I wrote a short story about them and won a competition.
That's
Wow.
awesome,
I
Jack.
think that is
Awesome.
so
I love it.
cool.
That's
John
cool.
Price says, I saw Satchquack when I was 9 before I ever heard of it. How freaking cool is that?
Yeah, I think I heard it, but I've never seen it. But I think I heard it one time.
Yeah.
I heard a cry in the woods of something I'd never, ever heard before. And even the guy that was with me, he lives up there. He's a local. He got freaked out. And we both went in the cabin. He's like, I've never heard that before either. We probably ought to go inside. I was like, I think so too. Yeah, it was wild. And then the ones I've heard on the videotapes, I'm like, that sounds kind of like what I heard.
Well, they're
Different,
interesting creatures. There's no doubt about it. I don't know if
Wayne,
they're.
what if those are the original Lemurians? Because I heard that the Lemurians could shapeshift like that. They weren't fully physical and not fully etherical. They would go between worlds. And that was like a common trait of the Lemurians, from what I understood from.
So would
I've
their
been in the
reincarnation be on a because sapiens are not Neanderthals, they're not Cro-Magnas, and whether it was Lemuria, whether it was Atlantis, Pangea, they were occupied, they had life, they were bipedals, and you know what? I can't help but I think we were more intelligent way back when.
Oh, absolutely.
I think we were more spiritual. I had a dream and I wrote it on my whiteboard and I wrote it right here as well. And I asked the question because I'm getting this thought that the barrier is loosening. There was a barrier between the two realms.
Yes.
And only the master and what I would call the goddesses, the ones who knew, understood where the bridge was at. But Trina, I had this vision the other night. It's deteriorating. It's becoming thinner.
Yes. You are absolutely right. It's the vibration is going to destroy the veil. But when this new flash of light comes in, I think that's when it's just either already game over or it's going to be super apparent to normal people and they're going to be seeing things that they can't fathom. And I think that's why it says in the Bible, men's hearts will fail for the things of which they see come upon the earth. I think that's what it is. They're going to see ghosts standing in front of them. And I think their hearts are going to freak out and a lot of them are going to not live through that because it's going to be so shocking to them.
You know, there is a belief that says that if you were created on a planet, let's say here, the very beginning of your journey, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around this, but apparently the earth will always have its hold on you. You can go to other realms, but you're always going to have the essence of earth in you.
It's the magic of the blood.
Lena said, go ahead, hon.
It's the magic of the blood. It's because when you go into earth, you take earth on in your genetic coding. So now it's in your genetic coding, which is etherical. As above, so below. So
and we're going to talk more about the etheric level.
Yeah. So when you come down here and you take on earth, you become part of earth. It's now in your genetic coding. It's part of your book of life.
Beloved Abstract says, I don't agree with everything being said here, which is why I haven't been coming in. Well, that's cool.
No, that's perfectly cool. Thank God you have a different opinion because, we all help each other broaden our perception and perspectives.
Yeah, we respect all. It's okay.
Yeah. So I do. I think, Wayne, we're whatever this birthing of the Aquarian ages is, I literally see it's going to bring in new physics, new geometry, maybe new levels of oxygen. I mean, just all these different things are going to come. And I do see the bifurcation as the split. One reality is going one way, another reality is going another way. And when that split happens, we'll never know what happened. You won't even know. It happens in the blink of an eye. And then over time, the two different realities just express themselves.
Indeed. And that is the hour.
You've got to be kidding me.
I swear.
Wow,
I
that
am.
went fast, Wayne.
Boom. I love this. And, folks, every comment and, point of view is welcomed here. That's the great
Absolutely.
thing. It's why we are what we are. So
God, I please change my mind. Oh, I love it.
it's how we learn, it's like
Right.
every day.
I have always so opened it. I have my ultimate question is why? I have a lot of questions, and
But that's actually what Pythagoras said that a philosopher truly is. That a philosopher is a seeker to the question why.
I can't help it. It's in me. And that's when I was little, my spirit guide, the Lord would say, "You're my why girl." I'm like, I know it's terrible. I can't stop. It's like, why? Well, because okay, but why did you do that? Okay, but why would you do that? I mean, I can't. It's a constant why.
It's the 3-year-old syndrome. Why?
You know what?
Why?
Too, though,
Why?
Wayne, he showed me it was the most important element of all 5, because he used to show me the 5 elements meant who, what, where, when, why. Earth, air, fire, water, ether.
And that's the pentagram. So there we go.
And the star, remember, I'm telling you,
I know
we're restarring, Wayne. We're restarring a new star, a new elemental birth, with the way physics operate through the 5 elements is shifting.
And Karen says, it is why we are here today with Wayne and Trina. The why.
The why.
The why, baby.
Yes.
We may not know everything, but we do know the why.
Yeah, and we're seeking, and that's the quest.
And it has hit my mind as well, because you see, the why is a path that branches.
Yes, it does.
Doesn't it though?
But it always connects in the middle.
Well, we just never get to see the big picture. It's
Correct.
It's like
it literally shows me. Yeah, it goes jump, then it goes back up and connects back up again. And it's just looping through.
That's what it is, man. It's that.
See.
It's that crazy 8 thing, man. It's like, like the rat said, forget the cheese. Just get me out of the trap,
Right.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, we love everybody here. Thank y'all.
Yes, we do. Yes,
Trina, this just went by like that, man.
It so did. And this egregore thing, I think there's a lot that we're going to be uncovering with this. I really do.
Oh, I think we're going to do. It's May 1st, everyone. I have the list, and I want to give thanks again to Linda and Courtney and Lucky as well. We'll get it out to you probably a week from Thursday, and it'll just be a handout. And so it's going to be fun, folks. It's going to
Absolutely.
be fun.
Absolutely. It's going to be nice to really collectively put some effort in together to create more favor in this world, because boy, we can't go wrong with putting more favor into this world. We definitely will need it.
We're going to need it.
So everybody seems to have that collective knowing. So
it's like, you're the last man on the totem pole of the deal. You're going, hey, I know something. Everyone's going, oh, you're just now getting the memo, huh?
Right. You just got the memo.
It's like, Jay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Soul Tribe. Thank you all. Thank you, moderators. We love y'all.
So much love to you.
Smile. It is Michelle Can-Am Free. Good to see you, my dear. Love everybody, folks.
Yes,
love one another. Love yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the way to do it. And Trina, I'll see you here next Tuesday, right?
Yes, and I can't wait to see how we manifest some wonderful favor into this world. And just know, guys, together we are a force.
We are a force, and
we're going to be a force of good.
Seeing that we are a force of good.
That's right.
We are good. We are.
That's right. Favor is a beautiful thing.
As they say, you shall know them by their fruits.
You shall know them by their fruits. Bingo.
Yeah. And I mean, we got some good fruit.
I love that. Yeah, I love it, because I'm like, bring it on, man. Bring it on. I'll show you my fruits any day. I got no problem.
When I think of the Soul Tribe, I think of ambrosia.
Yes.
That's just what I think. Yes. Ambrosia is my favorite salad. And so I always think of the
awakening of the God. It's the literally.
delicacy of the gods. And so,
Yes,
Soul
we
Tribe,
got-
you are my
yeah.
ambrosia. You know, that's
That
all I
is
got to say.
so, I agree. Oh my, I agree. I love it.
You know, I love that.
Yeah.
All right, folks, make sure you subscribe, please. You know,
And
YouTube.
share, because a lot of
Yeah.
people may have been unsubbed. So if you think of
Yes, yeah.
anybody that you haven't seen in chat for a while, you may want to hit them up, because 10 to 1, they've been unsubbed.
Bet you they have been. So
Yep,
thank
I
you.
betcha.
All right,
Yeah.
Soul Tribe. We love you.
Much love.
All right. See you next week. Bye-bye.